Hello everyone, this is Claudia, and in today's card I'm going to present you this cool, super cool kitty that has fallen asleep somewhere on a wall with this cool wallpaper kind of thing in an old house, and a mouse that looks down on it. So the stamp set I Need You from my favorite things it's really awesome because I've been on a roll creating cards with this stamp set and I'm still not finished. So yeah, this is one of the first cards I made, and I started with a little piece of watercolor paper and I cut it by to 3¼ by 4½, I think. And I wanted to do this wallpaper look, and I was really looking for a stripe stencil, and I couldn't find my stripe stencil, and the only stencil I could find is this I don't know how to call them. Anyway, rhomb shapes, and I thought, okay, this still looks like a wallpaper, like a really old house wallpaper, more like steampunky wallpaper, and I did it by putting some distress inks, like I think it was shady lilac, and then the other color was seedless preserves, and it's quite basic what I did. It's nothing special, but it really does give the feel of that wall that is like a wallpaper thing. So my idea was that this kitty is living in a house that has lots of shelves, so lots of books and lots of other things there, and the kitty just fell asleep on this shelf, holding the little thread ball, and there's a funny mouse there that looks down on the kitty and thinks, the kitty is sleeping, I can do whatever I want now. Anyway, the idea was super funny. I guess this is what my dream kitty would do if I would have a kitty, but I don't. But anyway, this is how I imagine kitty sleeping everywhere. So if you have a kitty, please let me know if kitties actually sleep on shelves. I heard that they kind of sleep in odd places. So anyway, besides that, I needed something like, because the shelves would have books and other stuff on them, so I have a set from Samus Stamp, and that has a lot of books, and I keep stamping that one, and it has some nice like frames and an apple. So I'm kind of making my scene, and I bought these inks from Longthorn just to test them out. I only have 3 inks from them, and I'm really pleased. I think I'm gonna buy some more. I wasn't sure if I going to like them, so I only bought 3 ones, but the colors are really pretty. So anyway, I'm using these dye inks to stamp all my elements, like some books and some frame and some boxes that are going to fill out the shelves. And then I'm just gonna color the kitty and the actual shelves, and then I'm gonna pop them up with some foam dots. So far hasn't been very difficult, and I'm deciding to do the kitty with a little bit of brown. It's just a normal kitty. So I'm starting actually with brush cordony, and I'm using the distress markers because it's the easiest thing. It's very easy to actually paint something with the distress markers, because the colors really blend nicely, and anything you put blends nicely, and you don't really need to think too much about mix and matching, because the colors really are made to be close to each other. And now I think I'm using the tea dye, and the reason why I use a real brush instead of the water brush is because I'm trying to control the water a bit more. I have a problem with my water brush that sometimes puts too much water, sometimes too less water, but with a real brush I can really control the amount of water I'm putting. So the way I color the kitty is I put the lightest shade first, and then on the parts where I think it will be the darkest, I just add more darker color and blend it out, because I don't want the edges to be too sharp, and that's why I just go with the brush and blend everything out. Sorry if my voice isn't top notch, but in the last week and a half I kind of lost my voice because I was quite sick, so I'm just getting back into actually being able to speak. For the shells, the easiest way is to put your darkest colors in the corners and then pull the color towards the middle, and you're gonna leave the middle more white, and that will be kind of the reflection. So this is not really rocket science coloring. It's quite easy, and I'm trying to, you know, learn more about coloring. So yeah, I'm going to use more watercolors in my future videos. Lately I always seem to color in the threads with green. I don't know why I have this obsession with green, but I do have a green obsession. So you saw me in another video also, I colored it to green. I don't know, it seems to me that because maybe summer is coming, I'm starting to like green more and more and more. So probably I'll grow out of it. Anyway, I cut all the pieces with my Cutterby scissors, because that's a really sharp scissor and it goes really fast. I don't have the dies for this set, and I don't think it's necessary. I can just cut them out pretty easy. I spared you the whole cutting out thing because that usually takes way too long, and I'm just adhering everything down. The reason why I stamped with black ink as well underneath is because some of the images I'm gonna pop, and I wanted to have the outline underneath, so when somebody looks at the card, it looks nicer. And some of the elements I'm just adhering down without popping them up. So only the kitty and the mouse I'm going to actually pop, and also the two frames that I'm going to fill the whole image with. Now this glue pen is really cool, but what I noticed is that if I leave the glue to dry on my mat, it really is hard to get out. I mean, only with rubbing alcohol you can get it out, and that's very hard. So I try to always clean my mat immediately after I use it, because it just takes way too long. So now my scene is taking shape, and it looks really cool. It really looks like an old wall, like from an old lady's house. Sorry, old ladies, if you're out there, but this is what I imagine. And all I have to do now is think about my sentiment and actually mat this picture with, I have this striped paper that looks really cool. So I was thinking, what am I going to stamp the sentiment on? So I tried different colors, and I came with this nice purple that matches exactly the wallpaper. So I'm just gonna emboss it with white embossing powder, and before I do that I used my embossing tool, because as many of us do, we have cream on our hands, and that creates like surface for which the powder can stick to. So if you do the powder tool, which is like just baby powder inside, actually you can replenish the powder tool with baby powder, is no problem. That makes it so that the powder only sticks where you do the Versamark ink. Now I'm going to do some rubber ends on the sentiment, and I'm using again my very sharp scissors. I mean, really, these scissors are really sharp. and then I'm just gonna pop them with some small foam dots. I think on this card the biggest time that I spend is peeling off the backing of foam dots. It's amazing how much time it takes to do that. Now I wanted to matte the panel, but then I was thinking, okay, I probably did it wrong. I didn't remember exactly what the measurements are, so I'm measuring them here. So it was 3¼ so I did 375, and it was 4¼ and I did, I think, no, it was 4½, and I did 5. And now I'm using foam squares to adhere everything to pop the entire panel up. Of course, before I do the panel, I remember that it would be a very good idea to first adhere the back paper onto the card, and then actually adhere my big panel, because otherwise it would be very hard to adhere everything down. So that's kind of it. That's the card. The only thing I did is I added some little detail on the frames, but I think it's so cute, and with this stamp set I think you can do a lot. You can do a lot of types of cards, and I'm going to for sure use this stamp set in a lot more coming weeks. So see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.